Chapter 38. Retracing the Steps. When Detective Inspector Pearce finished reading out Marcus's statement, it was 10:03 p.m. Aunt Gloria looked at Marcus with an expression that was off the Richter scale. Her bottom lip hung down. Tears fell down that she didn't bother to wipe away. Rashid sat on the dining chair, completely motionless, his head between his hands. Detective Inspector Pearce leaned forward, her knuckles tight. "Marcus," she said, "I want you to think. Take your time. Was there anything Salim said, anything, that might give us a clue to where he went next?" Marcus's hood shook. "No, that's it. I've told you everything I remember. He said he was coming straight back here. Honest to God." "Did he say how?" "No, he had a travel card. He'd shown me it earlier." He pulled the hood down more over his face. The policewoman who was looking after him put an arm around him. "I want to go home now," came his voice, muffled. Detective Inspector Pearce nodded. "Take him home," she said. "If he remembers anything else, call me right away." Marcus was led to the door, but just as he was about to go, Aunt Gloria stood up. "Marcus," she said. The room went quiet. Marcus paused, but didn't turn round. "I want you to know, Marcus, know it from me, Salim's mother. This was none of your fault." Then she sat down and groaned. Marcus shuffled over to her. "I forgot," he said, "to give you this." He held out his hand. In it was Salim's mobile. Aunt Gloria took it from him with shaking fingers. She held it up to her cheek. "Oh, Salim," she whispered to it, "where are you?" Marcus and his police escort left. Detective Inspector Pearce touched Aunt Gloria on the shoulder and said how she was going back to headquarters to mount a London-wide search. The workers in the underground, the bus drivers who went through Euston, would all be questioned. She'd leave no stone unturned, she said. Then she left too, and Aunt Gloria started to cry again. Mum sent Kat and me up to bed. We didn't even try to go to sleep. Kat sat up on the lie-a-low. I sat up in my bed. I had the bedside light on. My head thumped. "Ted," Kat said. "What?" "You thought you'd found him, and you hadn't. He's gone again." "Yes, Kat, gone. I don't like it, Ted." She shivered. "Inspector Pearce doesn't like it either." "No. All along, she thought Salim had run away. Now, she doesn't think so anymore." "No. There are two possibilities, Ted." "What?" "Either he ran away, or he was kidnapped." "Kidnapped?" "Yes." "But why? Aunt Gloria isn't a millionaire, is she?" "Oh, Ted, you're so young. Kids get kidnapped for other reasons." "What other reasons?" "Stop looking at me like a duck who has forgotten how to quack." I stopped tilting my head and blinked. "What other reasons, Kat?" My hand shook itself out. Kat lay down, curling up. She didn't go to sleep. I heard no lapping like a dog drinking. After a long while, I turned the radio on low. It was the shipping forecast at midnight. Down south, the rain came in. The winds rose. I heard tree branches tapping on the roof of our garden shed. I thought of the washing on the line, soaked again. Squalls of hard raindrops drummed against the window. I got out my weather book and looked up the section on the Coriolis effect. I heard Salim's voice at Euston Station talking to Marcus. "They're great, Kat and Ted." I thought of the boy on the slab. I thought of Salim, somewhere in the great silent void, or lying somewhere out there in the growing storm. Two possibilities. He was hiding or kidnapped. "Switch it off, Ted. The radio is driving me nuts." It was Kat. I switched it off. "I can't sleep," she moaned. "Kat, you know the theories? The 9 theories?" "Oh, not them again, please." "One of them was right, wasn't it?" "Yeah. Number 6, clever clogs." But you remember how I first thought of 8, and then later I thought of a 9th? So, maybe what you said isn't true. What do you mean? You said there are only 2 theories. Either he's hiding or he's kidnapped. But maybe there's a third theory, like the 9th one before. One that we haven't thought of yet. Kat was listening now. She got up and switched on the main light. Now you're talking, she said. A third theory. There must be one. She walked up and down beside the Lilo, thumping a fist into her palm, like a stone hitting paper in the stone scissors paper game you play when you are small. It was the one game I knew how to play, and it was my favourite. I made a scissors out of my hand, and it was like the third theory we were trying to find. I thought out loud. Maybe Celine went missing. Again, deliberately, willingly. Maybe Marcus is lying again. Kat stopped pacing. She looked at me. Marcus was clearly telling the truth. How do you know? I just know. It's a body language thing, Ted, like how I knew the 9th theory was wrong. It's the same now. I just know it was the way Marcus said. Salim didn't mean to vanish. He meant to come back here. He changed his mind about running away. So that means he vanished unwillingly. Yeah, she sat down on the bed. There are only 2 possibilities, Ted. There are only 2 theories. He either vanished by his own accord or of somebody else's. Somebody else's, I repeated, which means that somebody out there is holding him. Holding him. I got out of bed and opened the window. Somebody out there, I repeated. The northeasterly wind blew in. The papers on my desk flew across the room. A leaf came in. I could smell the outside. I could smell London. Somebody out there, Kat whispered, joining me at the window. She put her arm around my shoulders. Or something, I said. The gale came into the room for a few seconds more, and then Kat shut the window again. What do you mean, something? I don't know, I said. Maybe something got in Salim's way and deflected him off course. Like the Coriolis effect. That puts the wind off course all the time. It's not even a person. It's a thing. It's a thing you can't even see. Do you mean he met with an accident? I don't know. Maybe. Okay. He met with an accident of some kind and couldn't get home. But he'd have shown up. His body would have been found. Or he'd be in hospital somewhere. The police would have found him. Unless... Kat's hands went up to her neck. Her eyes went large and round. Unless what? I said. Unless he fell in the river. You don't just fall in the river, Kat. There are walls all around. You'd have to throw yourself in deliberately. Kat gasped. Her eyes got even bigger. Maybe Celine did that. Throw himself in. No, I said. Kat stared. I put my flapping hand on her soft, bony shoulder. No, I said again. She breathed out. No, you're right. Celine wouldn't do that. He wouldn't. She shook her head. Okay, so this Coriolis thingy, what was that? I don't know, I said. I put my hands up to my head and shook it. I'm trying to think, but my brain's tired. Let's be Celine, Ted. Let's both imagine we're in Euston Station. Let's retrace his steps in our heads. Remember, he doesn't know London well. He has a travel card, right? Right, Kat. He's waving goodbye to Marcus. Got that? Yes. Then what? He looks at his watch. It's about 4 o'clock, I said. And he knows Auntie Glow will be frantic. So he gets out his phone. And he goes to get out his phone. And he realises that he doesn't have it. He left it in the pink fluffy coat. So he goes to a public phone, right? She frowned. Wrong. He didn't have the money, Kat. He'd spent it all. The disposable camera, the Mars bar, the Cokes, the busker. Yeah, of course. All he's got is a travel card. So he decides just to go home. He goes down the underground. How do you know, Ted? It's the fastest and the easiest if you don't know London. Okay. He looks at the London Underground map. He's already been on the Northern Line this morning. He's not stupid. And it's simple. From Euston to our stop, it's direct. There's no changing. Easy. He goes to the platform, he gets on. Euston, Tottenham Court Road, Leicester Square, Embankment, Waterloo, I said. Then on to our stop, Ted. He gets out. He gets to the lift. He gets back to ground level, Cat. He shows his travel card or puts it through the barrier. Then he's back here. Back here. We're just round the corner from the tube. Cat blew out a hot, angry breath. Ugh, it's useless, Ted. He might have got confused about which direction to take when he got back to the main road. I do sometimes. Cat stared at me. I don't think so. Not Salim. He walked the way with us just that morning. It's dead easy. Just 200 metres down the main road, past the barracks, and then left onto Rivington Street. And then our house, halfway down. I nodded. Our house, halfway down. Cat slumped back on her lilo. It's useless, Ted. Useless, I said. My hand started shaking itself out. My head went off to the side. What did you say, Cat? I said. Say it again. Useless. Not that. What you said before. From the bit about the main road. 200 metres down on the main road, past the barracks, and then... She stopped. She stared. In the pod, Cat, at the top. Marcus said he was staring straight at the sun. He was looking south. He said he was looking at Manhattan. Cat murmured. He wasn't looking at Manhattan, Cat, or the sun. He was looking at something that reminded him of Manhattan. A big tower block. He was looking at the barracks. That's the something, Cat said. That's it. That's the Corylus thingy, the thing that made him go off course. Then she shook her head. But Ted, he was anxious to get home. Surely he wouldn't have stopped and gone wandering off into the barracks. He likes tall buildings, Cat, I said. Cat nodded. He had a disposable camera. He might have wanted to take some pictures. I nodded. It was a fine day, Cat. Good views. Views which he knew would soon not exist anymore. Besides, Ted, he may have dreaded Auntie Glo going ballistic when he showed up. A little delay was maybe appealing. He goes into the barracks just for a quick look. And then what? Dad came home that evening, I squeaked. He said he'd made it secure. He locked it up. He hasn't been back since. He said he'd been down Peckham Way today, on another site. He locked it up, Cat, with Salim inside it. And nobody's been there since. Salim's in there, Cat, trapped. And the concrete crushers are going in tomorrow. It's the end.